So for my first posing tip, it's the front pose, which I notice a lot of people do is they lean forward and they face forward instead of kind of being at an angle. So you kind of want to be at a diagonal instead of, I don't know if you can hear me. You kind of want to be at a diagonal instead of facing the front because you really want that side glute to show in that front pose. So always make sure that you're not straight forward, not completely to the side, kind of at a diagonal with your upper body, and just sit on it.
Johnny O. Jackson Classic. Let's look at this video. This is a hard look. What'd you think about this look?
Well, considering it was my first look after not competing for like a year and a half, I was very shook. I was not expecting me to look that way. The last time I was on stage, I was 97 pounds, and I was 110.6 to be exact at the Johnny O. Jackson. So it was awesome to see a wellness look on me, finally. So it was very shocking, but I was very happy with that package. I didn't know what I was gonna look like. I didn't know what to expect. So when I started seeing it, I was like, oh, okay, she is wellness. All right. So that's kind of what it was like. It was very unexpected, but I want to say everything I ever wanted at the time. So
it was so beautiful to see this 18,000 people supporting you at the show. Let's look at that video. I took some video of you taking pictures.
Yeah.
Can you name some of these people? Or?
Yeah, I can name every single one of them. We had Jess. We had two Jesses. Jess McKinn and Jessica Price. We had McKinn's husband. We call her McKinn because there's so many Jesses. We had Andrea, her husband. We had Monica, Vince, obviously Brick Wall. Who else? Sheila was there. Skylar was Sheila's husband. Yeah, it wasn't 18,000 people. It was like
20 maybe?
Maybe 20. It was a lot of people. It was, I mean, one of the main reasons I wanted to do Johnny O. Jackson was because it was local to me and to my gym. My first competition was in California, in San Diego, because I am from California, and I wanted my friends and family to go. So when I was going to compete this year, or last year, my coach said he wanted me to compete in Texas because he wanted me to establish myself as a bodybuilder in Texas, since I live in Texas now. And I said, okay. And I was a little bummed that like my friends and family weren't going to be there, but then I quickly realized that my friends and family are here. It's just my Texas friends and family, not my California friends and family. But it was really nice to see that I do have friends and family here in Texas. Because my first year I didn't, and it was very hard the first year. But now being at Metroflex, I have this community, that came out to support me. And the coolest thing about it, which, Brick Wall is just Brick Wall, he actually had everybody dressed in like black or red on purpose to match with me, because I had a red suit and, my black robe. Mm-hmm. So that was pretty cool. I was not expecting that at all. And my friends kept it very quiet. Oh, there was Bella there too. Can't forget Bella. Bella and Jack and Michael. Bella was my, I guess you call it stage mom. The one who just helps you out throughout the entire show. The day before, she did my tan. I stayed at her place. She took really good care of me. So yeah, can't forget Bella. But yeah, it was really nice to see just everyone there. It was heartwarming. Mm-hmm. That's the word.
Yeah. It was legit.
Yeah. Yeah, it was nice. It was nice. It was a nice way to start off the season, especially because I wasn't going to compete that soon. Originally, the plan wasn't to compete until December. I was going to compete at the Battle of Texas. That was going to be my first show. But maybe around June-ish, I felt ready. I felt like I was just stalling. And I texted my coach like, hey, hypothetically speaking, if I wanted to compete sooner, like, is that cool? Can we do it? How far out do you think we could be? And he was like, just send me the show list in your area and pick a show and we'll make it happen. And the Johnny O. Jackson just made sense. I'm also really good friends with Johnny O. Jackson. We met him my first year here in Texas. We was a vendor at one of his shows, and ever since then we've been, scratch that. I met him at another show in Austin where we were vendors, and I was just talking to this guy. I had no idea who Johnny O. Jackson was. I was watching the show. He was at a booth next to me, and he just starts talking to me, and I was like, talking back, like just normal. Then he comes up to my booth and he's like, yeah, I have a show. Like, if you guys are interested in being vendors. And I was like, all right, cool. He sends me his Instagram, walks away. And I'm like, that was Johnny O. Jackson. Like, I was just BSing with Johnny O. Jackson. Are you serious right now? So ever since then, I was just like really cool with Johnny. So it just kind of made sense to do his show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Talk about Brickwall a little bit. This guy seems to be really cool.
Brickwall is awesome. Brickwall is my best friend. There's a lot of history, that goes into like my friendship with him, but try to keep it as concise as possible. I met him in 2020 when in the midst of COVID in LA. He actually sought out my brother, who I have 3 brothers, by the way, but one of my brothers found him on social media and was like, hey, I have this clothing brand. Can you like model for me? And my brother was like, yeah, I'm down. And then my brother was like, hey, you want to come with? And I was like, sure, why not? And I just tagged along. So I met him the day that they did the photo shoot. Eventually, like, my brother got more involved with him, and I would just always tagged along because I was just like, I was always the annoying little sister that wanted to do everything with my brothers. And then eventually, like, I started modeling for him. I'm an accountant, right? I mentioned that. So one day Brickwall was like, hey, can you take a look at my books? And I was like, yeah, sure. So I did, and they were horrible. And he asked me, like, can you fix this? And I said, yeah, I can, but it's going to take some time. And he was like, all right, well, fix it, and I'll pay you. And I was like, all right, cool. So I started working on his books, and then I started working on his social media. Like, little by little, I became more involved with Brickwall and the clothing brand. If you guys don't know, Brickwall and I actually own a clothing brand called Exhale Negative. So I started doing his books. I started doing social media. I started working in the warehouse. I was modeling. And we always talked about one day he was going to hire me full-time, and I was going to work for Exhale Negative full-time. And we always talked about that. And it was just like, I can't afford it. Not yet. Someday. And one day, just out of the blue, he texted me in the middle of the night, and he's like, hey, are you willing to take a pay cut and come work for Exhale Negative full-time? And in a heartbeat, I said yes. So I quit my 9-to-5, and I started working for Exhale Negative full-time. Shortly after that, I moved in with him because it just made sense. I was there all the time. I would literally wake up, go there, and be there till like the middle of the night and, working. So he's like, why don't you just move in? Like, it makes sense. And so I did. And maybe like a month later, he was like, so he was in the service and he decided to get out. And he always talks about moving the company to Texas. And at the time I asked him, like, what's stopping you? And he was like, the service. My unit is here in LA. I have to stay here. So when he decided to get out, he came home and he's like, hey, I'm not re-enlisting. And I was like, so Texas? And he was like, moving to Texas is a pretty big fucking deal. I was like, yeah, so let's go. And we kind of just booked a flight, flew out here, saw it for a week, flew back, got our stuff, and came right back and moved to Texas. And, I mean, we've just been doing everything together ever since. The company, Brickwall Media, just Texas, and in Texas together. Yeah, he's my best friend. Like, I don't know how else to explain it without it being a super long story. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but there's a lot.
Exhale Negative.
Mm-hmm.
Describe this company.
So
you're wearing a shirt, right?
I am. I'm wearing the shirt. I'm wearing the shorts. Mm-hmm. So Exhale Negative was established in 2018 by Brickwall. XO Negative is more a message than it is a clothing brand. That it's let go, but you cannot control, take control, but you can. And when Brickwall came up with that, it was kind of like he wanted to get this message out to the world, and he didn't know how. So his way was putting it on clothing. And anyone who, I get chills just telling you that, anyone who wears it is spreading that message around the world. So XL Negative is why Brickwall and I are together. XL Negative is why we're in Texas. We are on a kind of hiatus with the clothing brand right now, just because life. But best believe that we're gonna come back, and it's gonna be amazing. XL Negative is behind all of this. I would not be doing bodybuilding full time if it wasn't for XL Negative too. So wouldn't be in Texas. I wouldn't have met Brickwall. So XL Negative is the reason.
In what ways is Texas different than California, like in business and stuff?
I want to say for me, I would say in bodybuilding in general, Texas is not that LA isn't big in bodybuilding, but LA is more. Not mean. Mean is not the word I'm looking for, but let's just say like in LA, people are about themselves. Just they won't talk to you unless you can give them something that's going to benefit them. As opposed to here, like it's not like that at all. And then the bodybuilding community is small, but it's big. But everybody knows each other, and everybody's connected, and everybody talks to each other. And it wasn't like that over there. And I've been thinking about that because I see it more now, but I'm like, I don't know if it's because I wasn't doing it full time, and I kind of moved to Texas like after my first year of bodybuilding. So I don't know if it would have been different if I would have stayed there. But seeing it here, like, how is it that I know bodybuilders at Destination Dallas, that's in Allen, and I live in Crowley, which is like more than 70 miles apart, like it's far, but it's a big, small community. So I think bodybuilding is a lot bigger here in Texas, or it's just more outspoken, and it's not so shallow. Shallow is the word I was looking for LA. So yeah, I think bodybuilding is just bigger here. And then as far as business goes, the reason we moved the company to Texas, or why it's moved the company to Texas, was taxes. And here in Texas, Brickwall and I don't have like Monday through Friday 9-to-5 jobs, and we can still do XL Negative, or in his case Brickwall Media, and be okay to live, because the cost of living is a lot lower too. And it's a lot easier to talk to people here, and people aren't just looking for something to benefit them. So it was really easy for us to get XL Negative out there when we first moved here, and get ourselves out there, as opposed to trying to talk to people in LA who are like, you can't offer me anything. Yeah. So
more freedom here.
Yeah, definitely more freedom.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Can we throw to you posing right now? Let's do that real quick. This is Dee posing. We pre-recorded this, and here's her giving a posing tip.
So for my next posing tip, go with walking. So walking is a very essential part of your entire posing routine. And the big thing to remember is pretend that you have a dress on. And the dress is one of those like pencil dresses that is tight up until your knees and then it spreads out. So you don't want to lift your knees higher because if you're wearing that dress, you can't do that. So when you're walking, keep your knees tight.
I feel like you're a deep thinker.
Oh, yeah.
Does this come from your mom, your dad?
I don't know.
They're from Mexico.
Yes, they were both born and raised in Jalisco.
Born and raised in what?
Jalisco.
Jalisco. Oh, Jalisco.
Yeah.
A city.
Jalisco is a state.
Okay.
They're from a town called Juchitlan.
Okay.
So they were both...
Where's that in Mexico?
I don't know my geography in the U.S., much less in Mexico. I just know that if you fly to Guadalajara, well, you know what Guadalajara is. I feel like people know what Guadalajara is. Uh-huh. It's like a 3-hour drive, I think maybe south. I don't take my word for that. But
Mexico's fascinating. I've never been to Mexico.
No, I used to go every year from 16 all the way until 2020. I went every year in January with my family. But then 2020 happened and, we stopped doing that. But I don't know where the overthinker comes from.
I think I said deep
thinker.
Yeah.
Well, I'm an overthinker too.
Yeah.
I don't know, honestly.
Like how on your Instagram, I noticed on YouTube as well.
Yeah.
The first letter of every word is capitalized.
Yeah. That's just like a aesthetic thing for me. Like it just looks better, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just.
I like the long captions. I think it's better.
I like long captions, but I like to separate them by the little, dot when I do the little paragraph thing.
Uh-huh.
Because I feel like if it's all bunched together, it's a little bit more overwhelming for people to read, as opposed to like if it's separated, like, okay, I'm done reading that, moving on to the next one instead of just one block. Just me personally.
Yeah.
So I type how I like to read things myself. So I post stuff that I like to see, and I type the way I like to read. So,
do you feel like in life, we're talking about you being a deep thinker, are you present in life? Like when you go, does that make any sense, that question?
Kind of.
I feel like I'm so introverted, I'm just not present. I'm always in my head. And
I mean, I'm trying to figure out whether I'm an introvert or an extrovert because I don't know. I feel like I'm somewhere in between. Because I like being alone. I like being alone a lot. Like, a lot.
Maybe you're an extroverted introvert.
Maybe. But I'm also, like, if I'm out, like, my only outing is a gym. And Metroflex is such a small community gym that you see the same people every day. So those are, like, my people. So when I'm there, I'm, like, a big ball of sunshine. Unless I'm on prep, then don't talk to me. But I'm a big ball of sunshine. I'm running around, like, jumping around, laughing, like in between sets, I'll go hang out with my friends. Like that's me at the gym. And then during my set, I'm like, like don't talk to me. So it's weird. I don't know how to like describe myself in that sense. Because I have a lot of friends and, I like hanging out with them. But when I want to be alone, I want to be alone. And I like closed in my room, don't talk to me. I'm not going to post on social media because I don't want to talk to anybody type of alone.
Or do you read or?
I used to read religiously. I stopped on prep. I just made an excuse that I didn't have the time or I was too tired and I haven't gotten back to it. But I used to read religiously every single day.
Huh.
And when I'm alone, I just want to. It's weird because the way I see it, it's like I don't want to give attention, but that doesn't mean that I don't, I guess, not look for it, but look for it. Because I'm still posting, but I'm not responding. Does that make sense? So I don't know if it's like I don't want to give attention, but I want to get it. I don't know, but I do that a lot. Like I'm like, I don't want to talk to anybody, but I'm still going to post because this is funny and I want to post it, you know? So I don't know.
That's honest. I like that.
Yeah.
What did I see on your Instagram? Fuck Your Feelings as a book.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that book was really good.
Did you read that book?
I did. It was very honest. It was very fuck your feelings. Like, it was like a...
Do you know the background of the author, what he or she does? Or?
I have no idea. It was one of my friends actually let me borrow it. I was over at her house, and I think she just had it like laying there. And I was like, I like that title. And then she's like, you want to borrow it? I was like, sure. So I borrowed it. I don't know if I ever gave it back now that I'm thinking about it. But it was just like, you know, it's what I talk about all the time. Like, regardless of what you feel, how you feel, you got to show up. You got to do what you got to do, because the world's not going to stop. You know, the world's going to keep going. You know, you got to keep going no matter what, which is something I apply with bodybuilding in my sense. Like, I actually posted about it maybe a couple of days ago, how like when I want to shut out the world, when I need a break from the world, like I shut everybody out, including Brickwall. But bodybuilding doesn't stop. I'm still getting my meals in. I'm still doing my workouts. And at the end of the week, when I check in and the check-ins are exactly what they're supposed to, it's like, yeah, because I did what I was supposed to. Regardless if I want to spend an entire day in bed just crying for no reason, just because I have a lot of emotions and I need to cry to get it out. So that's kind of what the book is about, you know, just you do what you got to do. Like, and it's okay to feel what you feel, but you still have to do what you got to do regardless.
That's good.
Yeah. And that's also one of Exhale Negative's mantras. The work gets done regardless. It's one of our hashtags. I don't know if you see it on my page. I hashtag that all the time.
What is it?
The work gets done regardless.
Got it.
So it's going to get done regardless.
I'm a little anxious. February 5th, I'm starting with a new trainer. Mm-hmm. Any advice for me?
Like personal trainer or like a online coach?
No, it's going to be in person. We're going to do 3 times a week.
Well, what made you decide to get a trainer or a new trainer?
I told you this off camera. I'm turning 39. Mm-hmm. I'm getting old, and this will be my last year in my 30s.
Yeah.
So I'm just tired of the belly fat.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a little overweight. Mm-hmm. I do want to add some muscle. I do need a pro, and actually, you know, my trainer is a woman, which surprised me. I'd rather have a man.
Yeah.
But I kind of asked her some questions that are probably a little out of left field. One of them was, "Are you Christian?" And she said yes.
Yeah,
kind of touched me, and I've known her for a long time.
Yeah.
But I'm interested to see where we take it.
I think
she's unique because she also cooks food for clients.
Okay,
so I'm excited about that too.
Gonna have that.
Yeah,
I think like the best thing about, or the one thing I can tell you is just be a good client.
Yes.
You know,
I was thinking about that the other day too.
Yeah,
I'll be a good client. I feel like I have some challenges. I have a relative, somewhat bad lower back that hasn't gotten me in any trouble lately, but I do need to give it a lot of attention.
Right. Honesty with your coach is like the biggest thing.
Your coach is Andrew Walker.
Andrew William Walker.
How long do you think it felt like until Andrew got used to your body?
Let's see. Maybe a year. Maybe. It's been a long time, so I don't remember like the exact point where we like, you know, felt like we nailed it. Because I originally started with him as a lifestyle client. I did not want to bodybuild. I did not want to compete. I just wanted to look good, you know. I want to have flat abs, you know, that kind of thing. When I hired him, I was doing that on my own for a while. I was just like, you know, online, MyFitnessPal, blah, 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 that kind of thing. And I got to a point where like I felt that I was stuck and I wasn't improving. And I was like, maybe I need someone else to just help me out. So my brother, the one that I was introduced to Brickwall through, had hired Walker first. And at the time, I don't know if Walker's still doing lifestyle, but at the time he was doing lifestyle and prep. So I'm like, I'm just going to hire him just to get that extra help. And I did. And I told him straight up, like, I do not want to compete. I do not want to bodybuild. I just want to look good, just, you know. And he was like, cool. So we were just having like a regular diet. It was funny because when I first started with him, he was feeding me way more than I've ever ate in my entire life. And I kept thinking, like, I'm supposed to, like, you know, people, like, you eat a lot, you're going to get fat. That's the mentality we usually start with. And I was, like, eating, like, 300 grams of carbs, which I had never done before in my life. But I was like, you know what, I'm going to trust the process. This guy says he knows what he's doing. And yeah, I mean, he didn't know what he was doing. Maybe like a year later, he explained to me that a lot of people, when they start out with like a coach or anything, they're coming from doing their own thing. And most of them starve themselves because they think that that's how they're going to get fit and have the abs and all that. And they ruin their metabolism. So what he did was overfeed me to kick my metabolism into overdrive, which it did. And eventually your metabolism is in overdrive. You drop.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He actually did that this last show too. Because I went from the Johnny to Nationals and he gave me like a diet break. I had a cheat meal every single day for 7 days straight to kick my metabolism into overdrive. So it would just work really fast, and it did. So yeah, and then like maybe 2 years after I started with him, he's like, hey, let's do a prep. And I was like, you know what do I have to lose? Like, I'm already dieting. I'm already like working out.
Was it in bikini?
Yeah. It was 2020 when we started. And I was like, yeah, why not? And I started it. And then COVID happened. And the world shut down. And he was like, you know what? Let's just not right now. So I probably took a break from him for maybe like 3 or 4 months where I was working out at home, but I was like eating normal. And then come 2021, he was like, all right, let's do this for real now. And I was like, all right, fine, let's do it for real. And yeah, that's when I did my first prep. And after that, I was like, I want to do this for the rest of my life. And now I'm hooked. So yeah.
You're 28 years old.
20 years old. Yes. So I've only been bodybuilding for like 3 years, technically. So it hasn't been that long.
Yeah, I like the look at Johnny O. Jackson. I think it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, the Nationals look was very surprising too.
It was a different look.
Yeah, oh. I was not expecting that because I mean, what was it, like 3 or 4 months difference between the Johnny and Nationals?
September, October, November, December, about 4 months.
Yeah, and we took like maybe 2 weeks break. And don't want to say break, but kind of, because I was still on meal plan. And then I told you that 1 week we took a diet break. I did end up traveling to Los Angeles at that time for some family stuff. So we started over when I came back, like official prep for Nationals. So my Nationals prep was maybe like 8 weeks. My Johnny's prep was 10 weeks. So yeah, it was a different look. It was nice. It was good. He did tell me that because he from the start, he told me he wanted to do more than one show this year or last year. And he's like, you're going to have a different look at each show. I'm like, how's that possible? How is it possible to look different in the same year? It's possible. But yeah, I really liked both looks. It's a good season.
Yeah, that's great. Let's go to your third posing. Third and final time, she's going to give a posing tip. Let's throw that right now.
So my last posing tip, I'm going to go with personality. Show your personality on stage. The judges see the poses a million times during the day. They want to see something different in you. What separates you? For example, me, I am sassy as hell. So my sassiness shows with my posing. I show it in my eyes, the way I look at the judges. What's your personality like? Show them that. Show them something that's going to set you apart from everybody else doing the exact same poses. That was good. I think when I fell in love with women's physique in particular, it was, I don't know if it was Battle of Texas in 2021, but it was my first. It was with Battle Up, so I'm gonna assume it was Battle of Texas, and they had pros at that show, and the women's physique pros were doing their individual routines, and I saw one of them. I think
I was there.
Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. And I saw one of them, and I was like this, and I was just bawling my eyes out because it was so beautiful, like the song, the way she put it all together, and then I think they had gotten her music wrong at first.
Do you remember who it was?
Correctly? I suck with names. They had gotten her music wrong, and she's like, "I'm not doing my routine unless you put my song." And I was like, "Yeah, you tell them." So eventually they got like her song right, and like her song was perfect, and the way she flowed and everything. And I remember crying like, "That's so beautiful." So that was when I knew that I liked women's physique, like in general. So yeah, I like women's physique. I like all of it.
Yeah, that show, I think there was a lot of women's physique in that show.
Yeah. I don't see them that much anymore.
What about personality-wise, like since 2021, how do you think you've changed?
I became a lot more about me. So for a long time when I was in LA, I want to say, like I said, I was a little sister that wanted to be with my brothers all the time. So I was always so-and-so's little sister, so-and-so's little sister. Oh, is your sister coming? That kind of thing. So I was always attached to someone as opposed to just me. So when I moved to Texas, it was more like me. I wasn't so-and-so's little sister. I wasn't with so-and-so. I was just Dee. So that was like, that's my biggest thing. Like, at the time, my hashtag was full-time Dee, like just becoming full-time me, who I want to be, not who I am because I was with someone else, or who I was because of this, who I was because of that. I was also in a relationship for 8 years before I moved to Texas, and we broke it off like a couple months before I moved here. So I was, so-and-so's girlfriend and that kind of thing. So from 2021 to now, I just became me. Like, it's all about me, and selfish, but not in a like arrogant type of selfish, just in a, I'm going to take care of me first and then everybody else, because I took care of somebody else for a long time, just in general, that now it's my turn. So I posted like a couple of days ago the whole main character thing. Like, I became the main character because I always put other people's needs, other people, what they wanted to do, how they felt before. And now it's like, no, it's me time. So since 2021, I feel like that's what I've been able to build. And it's one thing that I hold on to now. It's about me.
Well, let's hit on, that was beautifully said. You're going to be an IFBB pro. It's coming. What do you think it's going to be like on that stage with probably some of your role models?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, to me, it's just being able to step on that stage with them in general. I know a couple of them personally, and, they're great people. And it's hearing from them, like, yeah, you're a good wellness athlete. You can be a wellness pro, is different than hearing it from like regular people who don't really bodybuild. Not saying you're a regular person.
No, it's me. I understand it completely.
But for nationals, I actually posed with Mia Samuels. I don't know if you know who Mia Samuels is. And she was like shook like just looking at me when I was posing, and she was like giving me like, this is great, like you're doing really great, it's amazing. And I'm just like, dude, like hearing it from a wellness pro is, even hearing it from my coach, it sounds cool, but it's not. He's also not the type of person to hype you up for no reason. So there's that. But hearing it from Mia was like, dang, okay, like that means something. And then I'm really close to Sierra Cho. I don't know if you know who that is. She's not here. She did compete here. I forgot what show it was, but I'm really close to her. She actually competed at my very first show and won the overall. We became friends after that. She turned pro last year, maybe 2 years ago at Universe. And one time I posted something. I think it was a posing video just on my story. And someone responded saying, giving Julia Wren vibes. I don't know if you know who Julia Wren is, but she's a wellness pro. And I posted that like, damn, this compliment is awesome. And then Sierra responded, I hope that she doesn't get in trouble for saying this, but she responded saying, I feel like you're going to go way further than her. And that's big because Julia Wren is incredible in my opinion. And going further than her, I mean, she hasn't won a pro show or anything, but her physique is incredible. Was just like mind-blowing. Like, okay, I guess I am doing something right. So yeah, it's really nice to be recognized as a wellness athlete from wellness pros. It's different than being, from other people.
It makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So I'm pretty excited. I don't know when that's coming. There's no guarantee. You never know who's going to show up. You never know. You don't know. You don't know what the judges want that day. You don't know. You can miss it by an inch, and it's just a part of the sport. Patience is big, but there's gonna be IFBB Pro in my Instagram bio at some point.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, it's great talking to a deep thinker, and you're bilingual, and
yeah,
it's awesome.
Yeah, there's a lot to me.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for watching. We'll see you later.